Hello, and welcome to episode 60 of High and Outside, an irreverent sports ball podcast. I'm Oz, and as always, I'm joined by my esteemed co-host, the Jinx himself, MC Kamish.
Sorry, I was making myself comfortable. About to spit some shit.
Welcome in today to our episode 60 of High and Outside. If you haven't checked us out already on social media, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at AOK Worldwide. You can find all of our episodes on iTunes and Spotify. Please rate, review, and subscribe on those platforms. Let us know how we're doing. Love to hear from you. You can find also all of our video casts on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, AOK Worldwide, and there's directyt.aokworldwide.com. We'll also get you there. Yeah. Big week. There's literally everything in sports, like everything is going on. There's too much to follow. We're not going to get to touch on all of it, but just to run it down before we hit one-hitters, there's baseball playoffs, there's college football, there's pro football, there's World Cup qualifying, there's F1, NHL hockey started last night, there's preseason NBA basketball. There's also scandals. Like, woof.
I think there's some sort of chess championship going on somewhere.
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot happening. But why don't you give us the one-hitters today, Kamish?
All right. Starting with number one, or one could say F1. There was the Turkish...
P1.
P1, yes, exactly. Turkish Grand Prix. That was damp, not wet. We're just going to put a pin in that and move on. We'll swing back. First place was Bottas. Second was Max, and then third was his teammate on Red Bull, Sergio Perez, Checo. And that makes the drivers' points as such. First place is Max at 262.5. Lewis is 256.5, and then Bottas is 177. And nobody else is really that close. But the race was kind of... there's some interesting stuff that was peppered in the rain. This was Bottas's first win of 2021. There's Checo had a great drive. Obviously, he podiumed, but he also really helped out. He did a solid for Max. He drove. Hamilton was trying to pass him. He drove very defensively. It was pretty cool. And then the one thing that set this race why you don't see Hamilton or Leclerc on the podiums is tire strategery by Ferrari and Mercedes. And it all came down to the track was damp, not wet. And so they were predicting, or some teams had a guesses that they were going to wear
one set of inters the whole time.
But they would wear like a heat up the track on the line, so then they could switch to slicks. And then that didn't happen. And then, for example, like you just said, Ocon went the distance, all 58 laps on one set of tires. So that just shows you how being any moisture on the track like affects tire wear. And then Hamilton and Leclerc both tried to do that, and then it did not work out for them, and that's why Leclerc ended up in fourth, even though he had a chance to podium or win. But he got fourth, and the Hamilton was right up there too, but he got fifth. So that's the...
Yeah, Hamilton was not happy with the pit strategy because Hamilton wanted them to end up staying out. In the end, he was like, let's just stay out at this point, because putting a new set of inters on meant that he was going to go through this like grind. They kept calling it like a grinding phase or something like that, and where like it was just going to like the tires were just going to go through a bad section and then they'd be good again. And Hamilton kept telling him, I don't want to come in, like I don't want to come in. And then eventually they were like, no, come in. And he thought that meant that like they had like the gap so he wouldn't lose places. But actually he came in and lost like three spots, and that's why he ended up like behind him. And he was like, why'd you give up those spots? Like I was good. And so I thought that was interesting. I did think that the Checo Lewis little duel was pretty fun. And yeah, I mean, it sets up a really fun last 6 races. I mean, Austin next weekend, then Mexico. Pretty exciting.
And then there's esports events going on this week.
Yep.
So that's kind of cool. They do it every year. Like, it's a big deal. Like, Hamilton's brother actually races professionally on esports. Yeah, so you covered it. Like, next race is the USA GP.
Mm-hmm.
MLB.
The Americas. Yeah, Major League Baseball. We have 5 teams left. In the American League, the Red Sox took care of business against the Rays and closed that series out in 4 games. Advancing to the ALCS, where they will see the Astros. I found it very interesting that the 2 teams that got punished and accused of all the cheating stuff with the banging on trash cans and Alex Cora and all that, both of them are back in the ALCS very quickly. The Astros are back in the ALCS for something like the 5th straight year. Yeah, 5 straight for the Astros, which I think everyone hates.
Not a lot of people are happy about it.
No. In the National League, the Braves closed out the Brewers in 4 games. A little bit of a surprise. The Brewers had a really good season and had a really good pitching staff. And I think a lot of people thought they would take care of the Braves. Alas, it is Atlanta, and they await the winner of tomorrow night, your today. It's Game 5 between the Giants and the Dodgers, the best 2 teams in baseball all year, playing in a winner-go-home game. Pretty stoked. I've actually really enjoyed the baseball playoffs. Kind of just every fall, I kind of somehow end up getting sucked into them because they do have some cool storylines because you start having these series that play out over a week or 2 weeks, and rivalries kind of there starts to be tension between the teams. You start to get into the strategies of like pitchers coming back on short rest and things like that. Like Walker Buehler, the Dodgers ace, came back on 3 days rest after pitching Game 2. He came back to pitch Game 4 last night to make sure that they could get to Game 5. And I just love that stuff. I think it's cool. I like seeing baseball played in colder weather. I think it's fun.
Breath as they stand alone in the outfield.
And there's just something dramatic about playoff baseball. It's very much of a stage for the hitter and the pitcher at all times.
The romanticism of baseball really shines in October.
Oh, absolutely, because it feels like, especially when your team's in, there's nothing like it. So when your team's in, man, you are just like,
that's food.
Nice. When your team's in, every at bat is feels like a huge deal.
Oh my God! You look at baseball like completely different.
Yeah, you put your team on, you put your team puts a guy on base, and you're like, oh my God, we put how do you got the guy on? It emphasizes everything. Like you said, it really highlights the romanticism of baseball in all the right ways. So I've been enjoying playoff baseball.
There's a weird perception about baseball in October too. It's kind of like it's a different perception. For example, it's like you have 10 minutes left sitting waiting for 5 o'clock, as opposed to you have 10 minutes to cram for a final. Otherwise you fail. One lasts forever. One is you're constantly under the gun. That's what playoff baseball is like. Mm-hmm. It's kind of cool shit.
Playoff baseball rules. So I'm looking forward to the championship series, and Game 5 tomorrow night.
I'm definitely gonna watch that, flipping back and forth
for sure.
So do your flex with having multiple screens. Okay, we got that out of the way. NBA, it starts Tuesday, October 19th. It's going close. And then NHL started yesterday or 2 days ago, Tuesday the 12th. And the Penguins beat the reigning champs, the Tampa Bay Lightning, 6-2. And when I was looking up scores for this bit, I knew this, but I forgot that I knew this. The second game was Seattle Kraken versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah. And the Golden Knights beat them 4-3. But I had there is a new professional hockey team in town.
In Seattle, we don't have allegiance to any hockey teams, So if you guys want to send us some of those sweet-ass Kraken sweaters, we will definitely wear them, and we will root for you.
Yes.
I'm just telling you. You will become the NHL team of this pod, the Kraken. I don't know. I don't know if you understand how much that means, but call me.
I will
hit me in the DMs. We will become your team.
I will definitely do some sort of retweeting campaign type situation to get the attention of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, check us out. We look great in the Kraken sweaters, which are sick.
With the S, which is kind of like almost the 6-line S with the crosses. It's
yeah,
like
but it's
little,
also a squid's head.
Yeah,
like
right.
Crazy.
And currently, actually, moving on from hockey, on mute in the background is the U.S. men's national team, which they just
1-1 halftime.
1-1. Costa Rica scored in the second minute, which is kind of annoying. And then Saudi money has bought another team up in the EPL, which is Newcastle. So that means they should be getting very good here in about 3 to 5 years.
Yep.
And we usually do this. I don't want to cover on this too long, but also because I like the sound effect.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, son.
Game. So, Oz, what is the current score of our team draft going on?
The team draft after 5 weeks. Kamish leads 99-81.
Okay, and with that, Oz.
Hey, what's the haps?
What's the haps? This week, we got another big week in the NFL. All sorts of stuff going on out both on the field and off. Off the field, the Raiders, John Gruden was fired. John Gruden is no longer the coach of the Oakland Raiders after emails were exposed or at least first reported on by the New York Times and then ultimately released in some form or fashion that detailed many misogynistic, racist, and homophobic things that John Gruden has said and
on
sent to
company
the
email.
league and all sorts of things. Very nasty things and unacceptable things that John Gruden has now at least, lost his job because of.
They NSYNC'd him out of the building.
So,
Bye.
but beyond that, not only is the John Gruden thing going, but it sounds like maybe the John Gruden thing is a start of a bigger email-related controversy.
The head of the serpent, if you will.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, when asked about John Gruden, the owner of the Oakland Raiders, Mark Davis, basically says the NFL has all the answers. There's many emails that still have yet to be shown, and the NFL Players Association is asking for all of them to be released, and I think it could get really bad because there's a bunch of really racist people in the NFL.
Oh,
and
nobody should be exactly.
The stuff that John Gruden was writing was really bad, and I'm just thinking there's probably some even worse stuff in there.
The thing is, the only thing shocking about this to me is that they did it on company email.
It's not shocking at all to me that John Gruden did it on a company email.
Yeah, but
I think that there are a lot of other owners who are smart enough or have at least savvy enough advisors that they wouldn't do it on some sort of company email. But boy, John Gruden, not shocked.
yeah.
Also, I was not shocked that was ultimately that was what John Gruden was about. That did not surprise me in the slightest either.
No.
But it's not a good look. Anyway, on the field, let's move on. It's an ugly thing, and I'm afraid, like I said, that there's going to be a lot more ugly to come out, which will be hurtful to a lot of people.
It's probably rightfully so, but holy shit, there might be owner this is going to be weird.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot we'll see. There's a lot that needs to come out.
Is it still 1-1? It is still 1-1.
And let's get to on the field where stuff is. This has been a fun NFL season. There's been a lot of unexpected things. It hasn't been that fun for me as a Chief fan. Not yet.
I texted you about this. Let's just lead off with this and don't dwell too much. But instead of Homer Corner to this today, we're going to call it Commiseration Corner.
Yeah, Commiseration Corner. The Chiefs as most people watched because it was on national television on Sunday night, got just beat in every way on Sunday night by the Buffalo Bills. The Chiefs did not play very well, but the Bills also really played the Bills deserve a lot of credit for coming in and beating the Chiefs. The Chiefs aren't really playing. They're just not playing that good of football right now. They're making a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes and doing things that they just don't normally do. That's basically it. The defense is a real problem. The secondary, is particularly the play of Dan Sorensen, is a real problem. And they got to figure some shit out. Luckily, I did see this. The Chiefs have played by far the hardest schedule in the league so far, and by terms of looking at DVOA of the teams they've played. And so their schedule gets much more palatable the next few weeks. But they got to get some shit figured out. The Broncos
have failed the tests of
yeah.
facing superior competition.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised when they lost to Pittsburgh. Because I didn't think Pittsburgh was that good. I didn't think they could move the ball against your defense.
Well, they could easily.
Yeah, they figured it out.
Yeah, they did well.
I just was surprised by it. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Oh,
I thought it would be kind of more of like a rock fight. I thought it was just going to be, not. I don't think anybody's too inspired now with the play of Teddy
or the header image. By the way,
yeah.
Sorry.
I don't think anybody's been too impressed the last couple of weeks with the play of Teddy. I know he had the concussion, so it's a little bit like let's see where it goes. But I also think they're just missing Judy and Hamler. Like you had an offense that was supposed to include, this incredible wide receiver core, which is still really good with Patrick and Sutton, but you've lost Judy, who's just the clinical route runner, always open, and then Hamler's like the speed guy that opens stuff up, and you're seeing the results of that. But it's weird. It's a tough division to be. In with the
Chargers.
The Chargers right now. The Chargers look really good. They got a big win last weekend against the Browns. I didn't get to watch a lick of that game because I was we went to the game and went to tailgate for the Chiefs game, and I just at one point get a text from one of our fantasy league mates, and it just says Herbert, and I'm like, I checked earlier and it was like a normal day he was having. It wasn't like anything crazy. And then I pull out my phone and the guy's got 55 points, and I'm like, oh wow. Looked at the score, 47-42. The Chargers beat the Browns. Like, woof. What a game.
I was in and out of consciousness on Sunday, to be honest. It was one of those times where it's like sometimes my body is like, it's time, bro. And I shut down for like a day. So I watched intermittent points of football through the day. Unfortunately, also I missed not having a Manning cast again on Monday.
Yeah, that sucked.
It's 2 or 3 weeks from this one before we have another one.
It's 2 weeks, so we only have one more. This is the last week we don't have one.
Nice.
So It's not too bad.
Nice. Can't wait to get it. Like, that's really the best way to watch it.
Yep.
And Thursday or Monday Night Football, what'd you think of that?
Oh, the Ravens game?
Yeah.
Lamar, man, the guy's amazing.
There's talk about going from zero to hero, like Herbert. Like he went 100 something and then just 420 like total, I think, offensive yards.
Yeah, he was amazing on Monday night, and that was a big win for them. It feels like the Ravens have now finally turned the corner a little bit. They're starting to get healthy now. Like they had those, at least a little bit more in the receiver core and the offensive line. So like you can kind of see like maybe they are going to kind of establish themselves in that division. The Browns I still think are really good. I think the Browns have played a tougher schedule. The Browns have to play the Cardinals this weekend. The Browns have just kind of played a brutal schedule, but I still think the Browns are going to be there. But I do think that's become a 2-team division at this point. The Ravens and I like Cincinnati, but I don't think they're going to hang around that long. I think they're going to, start playing a little bit more difficult. Once they start playing division games, it's going to be more of a struggle for them. And then Pittsburgh, I still don't really believe in it with Ben, but
We'll see.
yeah.
How many? It was a rough weekend for kickers.
Oh my gosh.
That blocked punt for when just the meltdown of the Colts. I think it was 12 extra points and 12 field goals were missed. The blocked one was hilarious.
One of the Texans had a punt that was just like a line drive into their own player's helmet and just like bounced off into a kick six basically for the Patriots. Like,
Was the double pump?
double punt was on Thursday Night Football last week. That was crazy.
Was there a 0-yard punt today or this weekend?
I don't know. I missed some of it, but it was like the worst kicking weekend in a long, long time.
Yeah, something happened. Like Mason Crosby was.
He missed like 3 or 4 game-winning kicks.
Yeah, like he missed 5, I think, total between like extra points, and then finally kicked the game winner.
Right. Well, and he also like before that he hadn't missed a field goal in like
32 attempts.
Yeah, like
It was redonkulous.
it was crazy.
Yeah, it was like the yips.
Yeah, pretty much. And then it
Got
was just like a
passed
collective
around.
case of the yips for
Yeah.
all kickers.
Yeah, exactly. Some kicking transmitted yips. KTY. KY screw. Anyway. But yes, it was horrible. they suddenly, it's like Space Jam.
Yeah, they took their powers.
So somebody's probably having a punt pass kick competition in past
In
Pluto.
space.
Yeah. Fucking dude, new child movie.
Yeah, there you go. This weekend we have some pretty good games as well. Starting off Tampa, Philly, Thursday Night Football. It's decent. Again, they're competing with the baseball playoffs. There's a game 5 tomorrow night. Dodgers, Giants. Like, well, let's put Tom Brady on Thursday Night Football then. That way, make sure people watch.
But it also is a short week, unfortunately,
What do you mean?
for Brady.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a short week for both teams. I mean,
exactly. But I'm saying, like, and he got that thumb that he had to ice.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see. He's on my bench at fantasy. Nobody cares about your fantasy team. But because I don't know if the short week and that thumb, I should play him over Kyler.
between Kyler and Tom, like every week, they hand out like awards every week on the league, and every week Alex has the highest scoring player on his bench because he picks the wrong quarterback.
And I won this week, thank
So
God.
funny. You put up huge numbers of points.
But if I had played Tom Brady, I would have crushed the season high in points and got the fucking bomb award, not the you suck, play the right player, doofus award.
I
God
just
damn
think
it.
that's so funny.
It's,
Oh man.
I'm feeling good for the turnaround.
Yeah, your team is good. Anyway, but no one
Nobody cares about your fantasy team.
The Chargers play the Ravens, which should be a good one. 2 4-1 teams in Baltimore. That's on noon game on Sunday. That's awesome.
Which we are watching because our wives are going to be at the Ren Fest, so
Yes.
I'll probably be at your house.
Hell yeah. Bears, Packers, another Justin Fields. Justin Fields looked pretty good this weekend against the
Packers
Raiders.
versus the Bears.
The Bears. Arizona, Cleveland. That's another really great one. Browns, Cardinals, Baker, Kyler.
Byler,
Kyler was Baker's backup for a year at Oklahoma.
Caker.
I like it. Should be a fun one.
It should be. Hopefully, it's high scoring.
I bet it will be. I think the Browns are going to have, or I think the Cardinals are going to have trouble with the Browns run game.
Still 1-1? Yeah, still 1-1.
Still 1-1 in the World Cup qualifier.
How much time's left, Nathan?
On
Okay.
Commiseration Corner, back to Commiseration Corner, the Broncos host the Raiders, the very
Division
turmoiled Raiders at the moment, who are now playing for an interim coach. That's a game that if I'm the Broncos, I want to win that game.
You have to.
Like, you're at home, they're going through a whole lot of shit. Like, figure it out.
Figure it out.
Dallas and New England. Dallas going to New England. CBS is stoked about that one. The whole freaking country's gonna watch that, even though New England's not that good. Like, Cowboys, Patriots, those are two very public sides.
Cowboys are damn good.
The Chiefs go on Commiseration Corner. Chiefs going to Washington to play the football team. should win, but I don't know anything at the moment, so I'm just like, whatever. Let's fingers
Everything's
crossed.
made up and the points don't matter. Yeah.
Sunday Night Football, the Sea Chickens face the Ben Roethlisberger-led Steelers. No Russell Wilson. He is out for 4 to 6 weeks. Tough look for my guy.
Fucking bent ass finger that they zoomed in on. For
Yeah, they did not need to do that.
Yeah.
The Monday night we close out with the Bills in Nashville to take on the Tennessee Titans.
Titans. That should be hope. I mean
the
anytime
Bills
the
are really
Bills
good.
play, yeah, it should
So-
be exciting.
You should be watching them if you want to watch good football.
Oh, John Brown got signed to the Broncos.
I know. I was so annoyed by that.
Yeah. I need to get a John Brown jersey
You should
now.
get a John Brown jersey. Elsewhere in sports, college football last week, crazy. Alabama goes down, which you love to see.
Love to see it. Tide got rolled.
Which didn't have to be A&M and whatever the hell's happening in College Station, but still, them getting beat is a good thing for everyone, so we're happy about that. OU Texas was fucking crazy. God, I just because I've been so bummed about the Chiefs, I kind of like forgot how awesome the OU Texas game is. Boomer Sooner, man, that was freaking great. Like, what a crazy comeback! Like, made so many plays and benefited from getting a few key turnovers from Texas, and like just. Now they've got controversy with this whole quarterback situation because they pulled Rattler, the preseason favorite for the Heisman, and like the guy he just hasn't been that good, and he got pulled because he turned the ball over twice early in the first half against Texas. The star #1 overall recruit freshman from Washington D.C. comes in as a true freshman. In his first series, he takes it like 60 yards to the house, comes and plays it freaking amazing. Has his drop the dime in the corner of pylon to Marvin Mims, and like it's just like this dude has it. And now everyone's asking Lincoln Riley who his starter is, and Lincoln Riley's gone all basically like close the door and seal everything up, like we're not giving anybody any information, blah blah blah. Like he basically closed all media availability till Saturday, and it's like this is crazy.
Wild.
But they're #4 in the country and they're undefeated, so they're having a good season. It's just it doesn't feel like it. Ole Miss Arkansas was going on at the exact same time. That game ended 52-51 with a unsuccessful 2-point conversion by Arkansas to win the game with no time on the clock. Yeah, that happened at the same time that OU was coming back against Texas to win 55-48. You could say it was a great Saturday. And I kind of forgot about how great it was because I was bummed about Sunday, but that was awesome. That was the type of day where I was like, oh yeah, this is why I watch college football. Nebraska, watched all of that game, which didn't end well. Nebraska made some really bad mistakes down the stretch and should have won that game. Notre Dame pulled it out of their butt against Virginia Tech, and Iowa narrowly beats Penn State 23-20. That was a great weekend of college football, and I had kind of forgotten about it.
Coastal Carolina still ranked 15th.
Yep, Cincinnati's undefeated and ranked 3rd. Like, that's pretty cool. This weekend is
Brigham Young lost.
Yep, BYU lost their first game. This weekend, there not really like as many big marquee games. Like there's not that many games between 2 ranked teams. The big one, I guess, is Georgia, Kentucky. Kentucky, we're going to find out if Kentucky's is for real. They get to play Georgia, #1 team in the country,
Georgia
in Athens. So that should be
Georgia.
Oklahoma State and Texas, 2 ranked teams playing against each other. But I don't know. But that's really the big games of the weekend. It's not as good on college football this weekend, but I'm getting more excited for the rest of the college football season. There's been a lot of chaos, a lot of unexpected upsets. So hopefully that continues.
Mm-hmm.
As I said earlier, there's elsewhere. If you don't want to watch football, there's professional baseball playoffs. There's hockey. There's preseason basketball. There's all sorts of stuff. So it's a good time to be a sports fan.
Shitload of shit.
Shitload of shit.
It's a nice time of the year for sports fans.
Oh yeah, the weather's changing. It's getting cool. I love it. We're gonna play golf this weekend.
Fuck yeah, we are.
So
that's one of my highs.
Yeah, that's one of my highs too. All right, y'all. Indian food,
man.
All right.